Rows of FEMA trailers now house many of Joplin's residents whose homes were victim to the May 22nd tornado. A long-term stay seems inevitable, judging by the sight of trucks paving roads throughout the new neighborhood. But one resident says FEMA hasn't done much more than encourage residents to leave.
It's pretty obnoxious. We'd rather rent a place. We'd rather pay for our own home.
And FEMA workers aren't arguing.
So every 30 days they're meeting with one of our recertification specialists to identify what their permanent housing plan is. They have to, if they're building their house, we want to be sure that they, and we understand that they may have difficulties in getting a contractor or that kind of thing. We understand, but we need to know that there is a process in place, a plan in place, that they're working toward a permanent housing solution.
But Banks says it was a challenge even getting into the trailers when they arrived.
We had to constantly contact them and pester them to even let them come look at, let them know that we needed the place. They were kind of rude, to be honest.
When asked if there's a standard protocol for FEMA operations, officials said that each disaster requires its own tailored protocol.
We do something different on every disaster. We identify the resources, the functions, the activities based on the local capacities, the impacts of the disaster, the state, and a myriad of things, so that we can create a program that is unique and special for that particular community.
Among the main concerns of those living in the FEMA trailers is crime. Banks says he mostly keeps to himself, but he's had personal belongings stolen from the front porch of his trailer. He also says there's 2 or 3 outbreaks of violence every weekend. Joplin police say they patrol the neighborhood at least once a day.
There's a lot of crime. In fact, if you look down the street, there's 2 trailers missing. Both of those were meth labs.
FEMA says it's doing what it can, but it doesn't require a background check for housing applicants.
When the decision was made to build those parks, we immediately began coordination with the Joplin Police Department and they have done a lot of active outreach in terms of community policing, gathering, neighborhood watch. They're developing those kinds of programs.
This leaves residents wondering when they'll see programs like that implemented. FEMA officials say it may not be anytime soon.
That's messy. It's difficult to do. Sometimes you can't always solve those problems, but as long as there's a mechanism and understanding of those and management of those, it makes a big difference for a community in the long term.
Many Joplin residents have probably seen this board. FEMA's long-term recovery team allows residents to post ideas of how they want to rebuild the community. And even though it's part of his job title, Steve Castner says it's up to the community to determine long-term plans.
We aren't here to do things long-term for the community. We're here to set up for the long term and give some guidance and some technical assistance to help the community do that for themselves.
Our role, as our name says, is emergency management. And it isn't to be hard-hearted, it's that we're not here for the long term. We're here for the immediate disaster-caused needs for both the community and for individuals.
FEMA officials remaining in Joplin say they rarely visit the actual trailers themselves, but they will continue to guide the community in making long-term recovery decisions. Lindsay Cooper, KOMU 8 News, Joplin.